Maya Rodriguez looked at the clock on the garage wall. It was almost midnight. She wiped her hands on a dirty rag and sighed. Her fingers were covered in black grease and her back hurt from bending over the motorcycle all evening. The garage was quiet now. All the other workers had gone home hours ago. The only sounds were the buzz of the old lights above her head and the soft music playing from her phone. Maya liked working late. It was peaceful. No one bothered her. No one told her what to do. Just her and the machines. She was working on a beautiful old Harley-Davidson motorcycle. It was from 1978. The owner had brought it in 3 weeks ago. The bike was in bad shape. The paint was faded. The chrome was rusty. The engine had not worked in 10 years. But Maya could see how beautiful it used to be. She could imagine it roaring down the highway, shining in the sun. Maya had always loved motorcycles. Her father had taught her everything about engines when she was just a little girl. He owned this garage before he died 2 years ago. Now Maya worked here with Mr. Chen, the new owner. She was only 19 years old, but she knew more about motorcycles than most men twice her age. She bent down to look at the engine again. She had just finished cleaning the carburetor. Tomorrow she would start working on the transmission. She smiled. This bike would run like new when she was done with it. Suddenly, a loud noise broke the silence. The sound of motorcycle engines filled the air. Not just one engine, many engines. They were loud and angry sounding. Maya stood up and walked to the big window at the front of the garage. 5 motorcycles came racing down the street. They were moving fast. Too fast for this quiet neighborhood. The riders wore dark clothes and helmets. They turned sharply and pulled into the garage parking lot. The bikes skidded on the concrete. The sound was terrible, like screaming metal. Maya felt her heart beat faster. Something about these riders made her nervous. They revved their engines over and over. The noise echoed off the garage walls. It was so loud that Maya had to cover her ears. The riders stopped their bikes but kept the engines running. One by one, they took off their helmets. They were all young, just teenagers, maybe 16 or 17 years old. 4 boys and 1 girl. The leader seemed to be a boy with slicked back hair and a leather jacket. He had a mean smile on his face. Maya walked to the garage door. She stood there with her arms crossed. She tried to look confident, but inside she felt worried. Groups of boys like this usually meant trouble. The leader got off his bike. He walked toward Maya with a swagger. His friends followed behind him, laughing and pushing each other. They thought they were so cool. So tough. Hey, we need help, the leader said. He did not say it nicely. It was more like a demand. My bike is making a weird noise. You need to fix it. Right now. Maya shook her head. Sorry, we're closed. The shop opens at 8 tomorrow morning. You can come back then, the boy laughed. It was not a nice laugh. Did you hear that? He said to his friends. She says they're closed. His friends all laughed too. Look, girl, the boy said, stepping closer to Maya. I don't think you understand. My bike needs to be fixed tonight. We have places to go, things to do. Maya stood her ground. I understand perfectly, she said calmly. But the shop is closed. Come back tomorrow and I'll take a look at your bike. Another boy stepped forward. He was tall and skinny with red hair. Maybe she doesn't know how to fix bikes, he said with a nasty grin. Maybe that's why she wants us to come back. She needs to ask a man for help. The group burst into laughter. The girl with them laughed the loudest. She had purple streaks in her hair and wore too much makeup. Maya felt her face get hot. She hated when people said things like that. She had been fixing motorcycles since she was 12 years old. She probably knew more about bikes than all of these kids combined. I know exactly how to fix bikes, Maya said. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. That's not the problem. The problem is it's midnight and the shop is closed. Now please leave before I call the police. The leader's smile disappeared. His face got dark and angry. Call the police? He said. For what? We just want our bike fixed. What's your problem? He walked past Maya into the garage. His friends followed. Maya tried to stop them, but there were too many. Nice place, the leader said, looking around. He picked up a wrench from Maya's workbench. These tools look expensive. It would be a shame if something happened to them. Put that down, Maya said. Her voice was shaking now. She was more angry than scared. Get out of my garage. The boy with red hair walked over to the Harley-Davidson that Maya had been working on. Check this out, he said. This is a nice bike. Old, though. like really old. He ran his dirty hand across the clean engine. Maya had spent 3 hours cleaning that engine today. Don't touch that, Maya said sharply. She walked toward him, but the leader blocked her way. Relax, the leader said. We're just looking. He walked around the garage, touching everything. His friends followed his example. They knocked over cans of oil. They threw tools on the floor. They laughed at everything. The purple-haired girl found Maya's phone. The music was still playing. What is this? She said, making a disgusted face. This music is so lame. She changed the song to something loud with heavy bass. Maya had had enough. She walked to the phone and turned it off. Get out, she said loudly. All of you. Get out now. The leader stepped very close to Maya, too close. She could smell cigarettes on his breath. What are you going to do about it? He asked. You're just a girl playing mechanic. This isn't work for girls. You should be at home painting your nails or something. His friends laughed again. The sound filled the garage. It was cruel laughter. Mean laughter. Maya's hands formed fists at her sides. She wanted to punch this boy in his smug face, but she knew that would only make things worse. There were 5 of them and 1 of her. My father owned this garage, Maya said quietly. He taught me everything about motorcycles. I have been working on engines since before you probably even knew how to ride a bike. I'm not playing mechanic. I am a mechanic. Now get out. For a moment, the garage was quiet. The leader looked at Maya. Something flickered in his eyes. Maybe respect. Maybe surprise. But then his mean smile came back. Whatever, he said. He turned to leave. But as he walked past Maya's workbench, he knocked it hard with his hand. Tools went flying everywhere. Wrenches, screwdrivers, and sockets scattered across the concrete floor. They made a terrible crashing sound. His friends cheered and laughed. They all got back on their motorcycles. They put on their helmets. The leader looked back at Maya one more time. Learn your place, he shouted over the sound of the engines, then they were gone. The motorcycles roared out of the parking lot and disappeared down the street. The sound faded slowly until everything was quiet again. Maya stood alone in the garage. She looked at the mess on the floor. Tools everywhere. Oil spilled. Her father's favorite wrench was bent. She felt tears forming in her eyes, but she refused to cry. She bent down and started picking up the tools, one by one. Slowly, her hands were shaking. Not from fear. From anger. Pure anger. It was going to be a long night. Maya woke up tired the next morning. She had not slept well. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw those teenagers laughing at her. She heard their cruel words. She saw her tools scattered on the floor. She got dressed slowly. She put on her usual work clothes, blue jeans and a gray t-shirt. She tied her long dark hair back in a ponytail. She looked at herself in the mirror. There were dark circles under her eyes. Her younger sister Rosa knocked on the bedroom door. Maya, you okay? Rosa asked. She was 15 years old with the same dark eyes as Maya. You look tired. I'm fine, Maya said. But she was not fine. She was angry and hurt and confused about why those kids had been so mean to her. Maya drove to the garage in her old pickup truck. It was 7:30 in the morning. The sun was just coming up. The streets were empty and quiet. She liked this time of day. Usually, when she got to the garage, Mr. Chen was already there. He was a kind man in his 50s. He had bought the garage from Maya's family after her father died. He kept Maya working there because he knew she was good at her job. Good morning, Maya, Mr. Chen said with a smile, but his smile faded when he looked at her face. What's wrong? Are you sick? Maya shook her head. She told him about the teenagers, about how they came at midnight, about how they laughed at her and knocked over her tools, about the terrible things they said. Mr. Chen's face grew serious. Did they hurt you? He asked. No, Maya said. They just made a mess and left. But Mr. Chen, the things they said about me being a girl, about me not being a real mechanic, it made me so angry. Mr. Chen put his hand on Maya's shoulder. Don't listen to fools, he said gently. You are the best mechanic I have ever seen. Man or woman, it doesn't matter. You have a gift. His words made Maya feel a little better, but only a little. The morning started like any normal day. Customers came in with their cars and motorcycles. Maya worked on an oil change. Then she fixed a broken taillight. Then she helped install new brakes on a truck. She tried to focus on her work. She tried to forget about last night, but at lunchtime everything changed. Rosa came running into the garage. She was breathing hard like she had been running. Her face was red. She was holding her phone. "Maya," Rosa said. Her voice was shaking. "Maya, you need to see this." Rosa held out her phone. On the screen was a video. Maya took the phone and pressed play. Her stomach dropped as she watched. It was her. From last night. The video showed Maya standing in the garage doorway. She looked small and scared. The teenagers were laughing. Their voices were loud on the video. "She says the shop is closed," one voice said, and everyone laughed. "Maybe she doesn't know how to fix bikes," another voice said. Then the camera showed Maya's face up close. She looked angry and upset. Her hands were shaking. The video made her look weak. Stupid, like she did not know what she was doing. The worst part was the caption above the video. It said, "Girl mechanic doesn't know her place. Maybe stick to cooking, sweetheart." Maya felt sick. She handed the phone back to Rosa. "How many people have seen this?" Maya asked quietly. Rosa looked at the ground. "A lot," she whispered. "It has like 5,000 views already. Everyone at my school is talking about it, everyone." Maya sat down on the concrete floor. She put her head in her hands. This was bad. Really bad. Mr. Chen came over. Rosa showed him the video. His face got red with anger. "This is wrong," he said. "This is bullying. We should report this to the police." But Maya knew it would not help. What would she tell the police? That some teenagers were mean to her? That they posted a video online? The police would not care. And even if they did, the video was already out there. Thousands of people had already seen it. The afternoon got worse. Much worse. Regular customers started coming in, but they acted different. Some of them gave Maya strange looks. Some of them whispered to each other and laughed. One man asked if there was a real mechanic available to work on his car. "I am a real mechanic," Maya said, trying to keep her voice calm. "Yeah, sure," the man said. "But I saw that video. I think I'd rather have someone else work on my car." "No offense." Maya felt her face burning. "No offense? How could that not be offensive?" Another customer, an older woman, was nicer but still doubtful. "Honey, are you sure you can fix my car?" she asked. "It's making a very complicated noise. Maybe you should get one of the men to look at it." "I am the only mechanic here today," Maya explained. "And I can fix your car. I promise." The woman did not look convinced. But she agreed to let Maya try. Maya spent 2 hours fixing a simple problem with the woman's alternator. When she was done, the woman seemed surprised. "Oh," she said. "You actually did fix it. Well done. Well done." Like Maya was a child who had just learned to tie her shoes. By 4 o'clock, Maya wanted to go home. She wanted to hide in her room and never come out. But she had work to do. She had that old Harley Davidson to finish. She had promised the owner it would be ready by next week. She was under a car, changing the transmission fluid, when she heard voices. Male voices, laughing. Her whole body went tense. Were those teenagers back? She rolled out from under the car. But it was not the teenagers. It was 3 regular customers. Men who came to the garage every month for oil changes and tune-ups. They were looking at their phones and laughing. "Have you guys seen this video?" one of them asked the others. "It's that girl who works here. She got totally roasted by some kids." Maya stood up. The men saw her. They stopped laughing, but they were still smiling. "Oh, hey, Maya," one of them said. His name was Frank. He had a big belly and always wore a baseball cap. We were just looking at some funny videos online." Maya said nothing. She just stared at them. Frank shifted uncomfortably. "Look, it's not a big deal," he said. "Kids these days, you know. They film everything. It's just a joke." "It's not a joke to me," Maya said quietly. The men looked at each other. Then they mumbled something about coming back later and quickly left the garage. Maya went to the bathroom. She locked the door. She looked at herself in the mirror. She looked tired, defeated, broken. And then she started to cry. Not quiet crying, real crying. Big tears that ran down her face and made her shoulders shake. She tried to be quiet, but she could not help it. There was a soft knock on the door. "Maya?" It was Rosa's voice. "Maya, please open the door." Maya wiped her eyes. She opened the door. Rosa stood there with sad eyes. She hugged her big sister tight. "They're all idiots," Rosa said. "Everyone who believes that video. Everyone who laughs at you. They're all stupid idiots." Maya laughed a little bit through her tears. "Thanks, Rosa. I'm serious," Rosa said. Dad taught you everything he knew. You're amazing at fixing things. Remember when you fixed my bike when I was 9? Remember when you helped Mrs. Patterson fix her van for free because she didn't have money? Remember when you rebuilt that entire engine in just 3 days? Maya nodded. She did remember all those things. Rosa was right. She was good at her job. Really good. So why does this hurt so much? Maya asked. Rosa thought for a moment. Because you care, she said. You care what people think. You care about being good at your job. You care about making Dad proud. And those boys made fun of all of that. They made fun of something that matters to you. Maya hugged her sister again. When did you get so smart? I've always been smart, Rosa said with a grin. You just never noticed. That night Maya lay in bed and looked at the ceiling. She thought about quitting. She could find another job. Maybe work at a different garage in a different town. Somewhere nobody knew about the video. But then she thought about her father. He had loved this garage. He had built the business from nothing. He had taught Maya everything, not because she was his daughter, but because he saw that she had talent. He never cared that she was a girl. He only cared that she loved engines as much as he did. I won't let them win, Maya whispered to the darkness. I won't let them make me quit. She did not know how she would fix this. She did not know how to make people respect her again. But she knew one thing for sure. She was not going anywhere. This was her garage now. This was her place. And no stupid video was going to change that. Outside her window, she heard the sound of a motorcycle in the distance. The sound made her remember those teenagers. Their mean faces, their cruel words, their laughter. But it also made her remember something else. Her father, teaching her how to adjust a carburetor when she was 10 years old. The pride in his eyes when she fixed her first engine all by herself. The way he always said, Maya, you have magic in your hands. Never let anyone tell you different. Maya closed her eyes. Tomorrow would be better. It had to be. She would work hard. She would prove everyone wrong. She would show them all that she belonged in that garage. She finally fell asleep, dreaming of engines and her father's smile. 3 days had passed since the video went online. Maya tried to focus on her work. She tried to ignore the stares and the whispers. Some days were easier than others. Today was not an easy day. It was Friday evening. The sun was setting. The sky was turning orange and pink. Maya was the last one at the garage again. Mr. Chen had gone home early. He had a doctor's appointment. The other mechanic who worked part-time had left at 5 o'clock. Maya was finishing up her last job of the day. She was changing spark plugs on a small sedan. It was simple work, the kind of work she could do with her eyes closed. Her hands moved automatically while her mind wandered. She thought about the video. The views had gone up to 12,000 now. 12,000 people had watched her worst moment. Some people left nice comments saying the teenagers were mean, but most comments were jokes, memes, people laughing at her. She tried not to let it bother her. But it did. Of course it did. Maya finished with the spark plugs. She closed the car's hood. She wiped her hands on her work rag. She looked at the clock. It was 6:30. Time to close up and go home. She was washing her hands at the big sink when she heard it. A loud screeching sound. Tires sliding on pavement. Then a terrible crash. The sound of metal hitting metal and breaking. Maya's heart jumped. That sound was close. Very close. Maybe on the highway just behind the garage. She ran outside. The highway was only about 200 feet behind the garage building. There was a fence between the garage property and the road. Maya ran toward the fence. She could see smoke rising up into the evening sky. When she got to the fence, she saw the accident. A motorcycle had crashed. It was lying on its side in the middle of the road. Parts of the bike were scattered everywhere. The rider was on the ground next to the bike. He was not moving. Maya's training kicked in. Her father had taught her basic first aid. He always said you never know when you might need to help someone. She climbed over the fence quickly. Her jeans caught on the wire, but she did not care. She ran toward the accident. As she got closer, she saw more motorcycles. 4 of them. They were stopped on the side of the road. 4 riders stood there, their helmets still on, just staring at their friend on the ground. Maya reached the crashed bike first. The rider was lying on his back. He was groaning in pain. His motorcycle was partly on top of his leg. Maya could see the leg was bent at a wrong angle. It looked bad. Don't move, Maya said to the rider. Stay still. Help is coming. She looked up at the other riders. "Call 911." She shouted at them. "Now!" One of the riders finally moved. He pulled out his phone with shaking hands. The others just stood there, frozen. They looked scared, like they did not know what to do. Maya turned back to the injured rider. She carefully removed his helmet. And then her breath caught in her throat. She knew this face. It was him, the leader of the group that had come to her garage, the boy who had laughed at her, who had knocked over her tools, who had told her to learn her place. For just a second, Maya wanted to walk away. Part of her thought he deserved this. He had been so mean to her, so cruel. Why should she help him? But then she looked at his face. Really looked at it. He was just a kid, maybe 17 years old. His face was pale. His eyes were wide with fear and pain. He was scared. "Really scared, please," he whispered. "Please help me." Maya took a deep breath. She pushed away her anger. This boy might have been mean to her, but he was hurt. He needed help. And Maya was not the kind of person who walked away from someone in need. Her father had taught her better than that. "I'm going to help you," Maya said firmly, "but you need to stay still. Don't try to move your leg." "Okay," the boy nodded. Tears were running down his face. "It hurts," he said. "It hurts so much." Maya looked at the motorcycle. It was a heavy bike. The engine was pressing down on the boy's leg. She needed to get the bike off him, but she had to be careful. If she just pushed the bike, it might hurt his leg even more. She looked around quickly. There was construction on the side of the road. She saw some wooden boards and a metal pipe. She ran and grabbed them. Her mind was working fast, thinking about physics and leverage, all the things her father had taught her about how machines work. She came back to the boy. "This is going to hurt a little," she said. "But I need to lift the bike off your leg. I need you to be brave." The boy nodded. He was crying openly now. "Okay," he said. "Okay." Maya positioned the metal pipe under the motorcycle. She used one of the wooden boards as a base. She created a simple lever system, the same kind of physics that makes a car jack work. She pushed down on the pipe slowly and carefully. The motorcycle began to lift, inch by inch. The weight came off the boy's leg. He cried out in pain, but Maya kept going, slowly, carefully, until the bike was high enough. "Can someone help me?" Maya shouted at the other riders. They finally moved. Two of them came over. They held the bike up while Maya pulled the boy away from under it. Then they let the bike down on the other side. Maya kneeled next to the boy. His leg looked terrible. She was pretty sure it was broken. Maybe in more than one place. But at least the bike was not crushing it anymore. She took off her work jacket. She folded it and put it under the boy's head. "Stay still," she said again. "The ambulance is coming." She could hear sirens now. They were getting closer. Help was almost here. The boy looked up at Maya. His eyes went wide. "You," he said. "You're that girl." "From the garage," Maya nodded. "Yeah," she said. "I'm that girl." "Why are you helping me?" he asked. His voice was small, confused. "After what we did to you?" Maya looked at him for a long moment. "Because you're hurt," she said simply. "And because it's the right thing to do." More tears ran down the boy's face. But these were different tears. Not tears of pain. Tears of shame. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm so sorry." Before Maya could respond, the ambulance arrived. Paramedics rushed over. They had a stretcher and medical equipment. Maya moved back to give them room to work. A female paramedic kneeled next to the boy. She started checking his vital signs. Another paramedic looked at the leg. "Looks like a compound fracture," he said. "Maybe 2 breaks. We need to stabilize this before we move him." The female paramedic looked at Maya. "Were you the one who got the bike off him?" she asked. Maya nodded. "Good work," the paramedic said. "That probably prevented more damage. And you kept him still. That was smart." "Are you a nurse?" "No," Maya said. "I'm a mechanic," the paramedic smiled. "Well, you did good, mechanic. Real good." The other riders had finally taken off their helmets. Maya recognized them all. The red-haired boy. The girl with purple streaks. The others. They all looked shocked and scared. The girl with purple hair walked over to Maya. Her makeup was smeared from crying. "Thank you," she said. Her voice was shaking. "Thank you for helping Jake. I thought he was going to die. We didn't know what to do. We just froze." Maya did not know what to say. She just nodded. The paramedics got Jake onto the stretcher. They were getting ready to load him into the ambulance. A police officer had arrived too. He was taking statements from the other riders. Jake reached out his hand toward Maya as they lifted the stretcher. "Wait," he said to the paramedics. They stopped. Jake looked at Maya. "I'm sorry," he said again. "For everything. For what we said. For what we did. You saved my life, after we were so horrible to you. I don't deserve your help." Maya walked over to the stretcher. She looked down at Jake. "Everybody deserves help when they're hurt," she said. "Even people who make mistakes." Jake nodded. Fresh tears rolled down his cheeks. "Thank you," he said. "Thank you so much." The paramedics loaded him into the ambulance. The doors closed. The siren started again, and then the ambulance was gone, racing toward the hospital. Maya stood on the highway as the sun finished setting. Her hands were shaking now. The adrenaline was wearing off. She felt suddenly very tired, very drained. The police officer came over to her. He was an older man with gray hair. "I need to get your statement," he said. "You're the one who helped the victim." "Yes," Maya said. "Can you tell me what happened?" The officer asked. He pulled out a notebook. Maya told him everything. About hearing the crash. About running over. About lifting the bike off Jake's leg. The officer wrote it all down. "That was brave," the officer said when she was done. "And smart thinking with that lever. Most people would have just tried to push the bike and made things worse. Where did you learn to do that?" "My father taught me," Maya said. "He taught me how things work. How to use leverage in physics. He was a mechanic," the officer smiled. "Sounds like he was a good teacher. He'd be proud of you today." Those words made Maya's eyes fill with tears. She blinked them back. "Thank you," she said quietly. The officer gave Maya his card. "If you think of anything else, give me a call," he said. "And seriously, good job out there. You probably saved that kid's leg, maybe his life." After the officer left, Maya walked slowly back to the garage. She climbed over the fence again. She walked through the parking lot. Everything looked the same as before, but somehow everything felt different. She went inside the garage. She looked at the tools on her workbench, at the cars waiting to be fixed, at the old Harley Davidson in the corner. This was her place. This was what she did. She fixed things. She helped people. That was who she was. The weekend passed slowly for Maya. She could not stop thinking about the accident, about Jake lying on the highway, about the fear in his eyes, about his apology. She wondered how he was doing. If his leg was okay, if he would be able to walk again. She tried to keep busy. On Saturday, she cleaned the garage from top to bottom. She organized all the tools. She swept and mopped the floors. She worked on the old Harley Davidson. Anything to keep her mind occupied. Rosa noticed that Maya was distracted. "You keep thinking about that boy, don't you?" Rosa asked on Saturday night. They were eating dinner together, just the two of them like always. "I can't help it," Maya admitted. "I keep seeing his face. He was so scared, Rosa, so hurt. And he apologized to me, right there on the highway with his leg broken. He actually apologized." Rosa picked at her food. "Do you think he meant it?" she asked. "Or do you think he was just scared and said what you wanted to hear?" Maya had been asking herself the same question. "I don't know," she said honestly. "I guess time will tell." On Monday morning, Maya got to the garage early. Mr. Chen was already there. He was reading the local newspaper. When he saw Maya, he looked up with a big smile. "Maya, have you seen this?" he asked. He held up the newspaper. There was a small article on page 3. The headline said, "Local mechanic saves teen in highway accident." Maya took the newspaper and read the article. It talked about the accident, about how Jake Martinez, 17 years old, had crashed his motorcycle, about how a young mechanic named Maya Rodriguez had used her knowledge and quick thinking to rescue him. The article called her a hero. "This is good publicity for the garage," Mr. Chen said happily. "People will see that our mechanics are not just good with machines. They are good people too." Maya felt embarrassed. She did not think of herself as a hero. She just did what anyone should do. She helped someone who needed help. But Mr. Chen was right about one thing. The article did change how some people saw her. A few customers came in that day and mentioned it. They said nice things. They thanked her for representing the community well. It felt strange after days of people doubting her abilities. At lunchtime, something unexpected happened. A woman walked into the garage. She was in her late 40s. She had dark hair like Jake. She looked tired and worried. She wore a nurse's uniform like she had just come from work. "Excuse me," the woman said. She looked around nervously. "I'm looking for Maya Rodriguez." Maya stepped forward. "I'm Maya," she said. The woman's eyes filled with tears. She walked quickly to Maya and hugged her. Maya stood there surprised and awkward. She did not know what to do. "Thank you," the woman said. She was crying now. "Thank you so much for saving my son. The doctor said if that motorcycle had stayed on his leg any longer, the damage would have been much worse." "You saved him. You really saved him." Maya finally understood. "You're Jake's mother?" she asked. The woman nodded. She stepped back and wiped her eyes. "Yes, I'm Maria Martinez. I'm sorry for crying. It's just been such a hard few days. When I got the call about the accident, I thought I had lost him. But you were there. You helped him. How is Jake doing?" Maya asked. "He's going to be okay," Maria said. "His leg is broken in 2 places. He needed surgery. He'll be in the hospital for a few more days. Then he'll need physical therapy for months. But he's alive. He's going to walk again, thanks to you." Maria reached into her purse. She pulled out a business card. It was Maya's business card from the garage. "I found this in Jake's jacket pocket," Maria said. "When I asked him about it, he told me what happened. He told me about coming here last week, about how he and his friends were rude to you, how they disrespected you." Maya felt uncomfortable. She did not want to make Jake look bad to his mother. "It's okay," she said. "They were just kids being kids," but Maria shook her head firmly. "No," she said. "It's not okay. What they did was wrong. Jake knows that now. He's been crying since Friday night. Not just because of the pain, because he's ashamed of how he treated you." Maria sat down on a chair in the waiting area. She looked exhausted. Maya sat down next to her. "I need to explain something," Maria said. "About Jake, about why he's been acting out lately." She took a deep breath. "Jake's father left us 2 years ago. He just left one day. No warning, no explanation. He left me with 2 kids and a pile of bills." Maya listened quietly. She felt a pang of sympathy. She knew what it was like to lose a father. Even though her father had died, not left, it was still a loss. "Jake took it very hard," Maria continued. "He became angry. He started hanging out with those boys. They started riding motorcycles, acting tough. Jake thought if he acted like a tough man, like a tough guy, it would hurt less, that it would prove he didn't need his father." "I'm sorry," Maya said. She meant it. "When he saw you," Maria said, "a young woman working as a mechanic, doing something he thought only men should do, it challenged everything he was trying to believe about himself. So he lashed out. He was cruel. He tried to put you down to make himself feel big." Maya nodded. She understood now. It did not excuse what Jake did, but it explained it. "I want you to know," Maria said, "I'm raising my son better than that. This is not who he is. This is not who I taught him to be. He's going to apologize properly. And he's going to make this right." "He already apologized," Maya said. "On the highway. He said he was sorry." Maria smiled a sad smile. "That's a start," she said. "But words are not enough. Actions matter more than words. You'll see." Maria stood up to leave. She hugged Maya again. "Thank you," she said one more time. "Not just for saving Jake's leg, but for showing him that being strong is not about putting others down. It's about helping people up. You taught him something important." After Maria left, Maya sat alone for a while. She thought about Jake, about his father leaving, about him trying to be tough to hide his pain. She understood that. When her own father died, she had thrown herself into work. She fixed engines because she could not fix her broken heart. Maybe Jake rode motorcycles for the same reason. To feel in control when everything felt out of control. Later that afternoon, Maya had an idea. She walked to the back of the garage where the police had brought Jake's wrecked motorcycle. The owner could claim it if they wanted, or it would be sold for parts. Maya looked at the bike carefully. It was badly damaged from the crash. The front wheel was bent. The handlebars were twisted. The gas tank was dented. But Maya was not interested in the crash damage. She was interested in the bike itself. She got her tools. She started examining the bike piece by piece. She checked the engine, the brakes, the suspension, everything. And that's when she found it, something that made her stomach turn cold. The brake line. It had been installed wrong. Very wrong. It looked like someone had tried to modify it. Maybe to make the bike faster or look cooler. But they had done it incorrectly. The brake line was too thin. It was attached wrong. It was a disaster waiting to happen. Maya took out her phone. She took pictures of the brake line. She took pictures of the installation. She documented everything carefully. Then she examined the other parts of the bike. She found more problems. The tires were too worn. The chain was too loose. The suspension was adjusted incorrectly. This bike had been an accident waiting to happen. It was not just bad luck that Jake crashed. It was bad maintenance, dangerous modifications. Someone had worked on this bike who did not know what they were doing. Maya felt sick. What if all the other bikes in that group were the same way? What if they were all riding death traps? Those kids could have been killed. Any of them. At any time, she thought about calling the police. But what would she tell them? That she found some problems with a crashed motorcycle? They already knew it crashed. The investigation was probably closed. No, Maya needed to do more. She needed to see the other bikes. She needed to check if they were all dangerous like Jake's bike. But how? She did not know where those kids lived. She did not know how to find them. She spent the rest of the day thinking about it. She worked on customer cars, but her mind was somewhere else. She kept seeing that brake line, kept imagining another crash, another kid on the highway. But next time maybe nobody would be there to help. Next time maybe someone would die. That evening, Mr. Chen noticed Maya was distracted. "What's wrong?" he asked. "You've been staring at that engine for 10 minutes without doing anything." Maya told him about the brake line, about the dangerous modifications, about her worry that the other bikes might be the same. Mr. Chen frowned. "That is very concerning," he said. "But Maya, what can you do? You cannot force them to bring their bikes here." "I know," Maya said, "but I have to try something. Those kids were mean to me, but they don't deserve to die because they don't know how to work on their own bikes properly." Mr. Chen smiled. "You have a good heart, Maya. Your father would be very proud. If you think of a way to help, you let me know. The garage will support you." That night, Maya could not sleep again. She kept thinking about solutions, about ways to reach those teenagers, about ways to check their bikes before someone else got hurt. She got out of bed. She went to her computer. She opened social media. She found the video of her, the one that had caused so much pain, the one with 12,000 views. She looked at the profile of the person who posted it. It was one of the boys from the group, the red-haired one. Maya looked through his profile. She found pictures of all the bikes, all the kids in the group. She saw pictures of them hanging out, working on bikes together, riding together. They thought they were so cool, so tough. They had no idea how much danger they were in. She also found something else, a comment on one of the photos. It said, "Can't wait for the ride this weekend. 8 bikes now. We're growing 8 bikes." There were more kids in this group than Maya thought. More kids riding dangerous motorcycles. More kids at risk. Maya made a decision. She did not know if it would work. She did not know if those kids would listen to her. But she had to try. She absolutely had to try. Because if she did nothing and something terrible happened, she would never forgive herself. She wrote down everything she knew. The brake line problems, the tire issues, the suspension problems, all the dangerous things she had found on Jake's bike. She made a list of what needed to be checked on all the bikes. Tomorrow she would figure out how to reach them, how to convince them to let her help. Somehow she would find a way. She had to. Too many lives were at risk, and Maya was done being angry at these kids. Now she just wanted to keep them safe, even if they did not want her help. Even if they laughed at her again, she would try. Because that is what mechanics do. They fix things. And these bikes desperately needed fixing. A week had passed since the accident. A week since Maya had discovered the dangerous problems with Jake's motorcycle. She had spent every day thinking about those kids, worrying about them. Wondering how to help them, she had tried to find them. She drove around town looking for their bikes. She checked the places where young people hung out. The park, the shopping center parking lot, the old abandoned lot behind the factory. But she never saw them. She thought about sending them messages on social media. But what would she say? "Hi, you don't know me, but I'm the girl you were mean to and I want to check your motorcycles." They would probably just laugh at her again. Or worse, ignore her. Meanwhile, life at the garage slowly got back to normal. The video online was old news now. People had moved on to other things. Other videos. Other stories? Customers stopped making comments. They stopped giving Maya strange looks. She was just the mechanic again. Nothing more. Nothing less. The old Harley-Davidson was almost finished. Maya had spent hours and hours on it. The engine purred like a happy cat. The chrome shined like new. The paint gleamed. It was beautiful. The owner was coming to pick it up next week. Maya was proud of her work. It was Friday night. Exactly 1 week since the accident. Maya was alone in the garage again. She had stayed late to finish some paperwork. Oil change records. Parts orders. Boring stuff that had to be done. She looked at the clock. It was 11:45. Almost midnight. She should go home. Rosa would be worried. But Maya wanted to finish the paperwork first. She was almost done. She was writing down inventory numbers when she heard it. That sound. Motorcycle engines. Multiple engines. Getting closer and closer. Her whole body went tense. Her pen stopped moving. No, she thought. Not again. Please not again. The engines got louder. They were right outside now. Maya's heart was beating fast. She put down her pen. She stood up slowly. She walked to the garage door. She was scared but also angry. If those kids were back to cause more trouble, she would call the police this time. She would not let them push her around again. Maya opened the door and stepped outside. The parking lot lights were on. 5 motorcycles were pulling in, slowly this time, not fast and aggressive like before. The riders were wearing helmets. Maya could not see their faces. The bikes stopped. The engines turned off one by one. Silence fell over the parking lot. It was so quiet Maya could hear her own breathing, could hear her own heartbeat. The riders took off their helmets. Maya recognized them immediately. The red-haired boy, the girl with purple streaks in her hair, the others from that night. And in front on crutches next to a bike was Jake. Jake was not riding. He could not ride with his broken leg. Someone else had ridden his bike here. He stood there leaning on his crutches. His right leg was in a big cast. His face looked pale even in the parking lot lights. Nobody spoke for a moment. Everyone just looked at each other. The tension in the air was thick. You could almost feel it. Finally, Jake moved. He hobbled forward on his crutches. Each step looked painful. His friends stayed back by the bikes. They looked nervous, uncertain, not cocky like before, not mean. Just nervous. Jake stopped a few feet from Maya. He looked at the ground. Then slowly, with great difficulty, he lowered himself down. He was trying to kneel. But with the cast and the crutches, it was almost impossible. He struggled. His face twisted in pain. "Don't," Maya said. Her voice was quiet. "You don't need to do that. You'll hurt yourself more." But Jake kept trying. Finally, he managed to get down on his good knee. His broken leg stuck out at an awkward angle. Tears were running down his face. From pain, from shame. Maybe from both. "I'm sorry," Jake said. His voice was shaking. "I'm so sorry." Maya stood there. She did not know what to say. She had imagined this moment all week. Imagined what she would say if she ever saw these kids again. But now that it was happening, all her prepared words disappeared from her mind. "Please get up," Maya said. "You're hurting yourself." "No," Jake said. "I need to say this properly. You saved my life. After I was so horrible to you, after I disrespected you and laughed at you and tried to make you feel small, you still helped me. You still saved me." The other kids came forward now. They stood behind Jake. The girl with purple hair was crying. The red-haired boy looked at his feet. They all looked ashamed. "We were wrong," the red-haired boy said. His name was Tyler. Maya remembered now. "We were so wrong about you. About everything." The purple-haired girl spoke next. "I'm Melissa," she said. "I was there that night. I laughed at you. I said terrible things. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry." One by one, each kid apologized. They said their names. They said they were sorry. Some of them cried. All of them looked genuinely ashamed of what they had done. "Please help me up," Jake said finally. Maya and Tyler helped him stand. Jake balanced on his crutches. He reached into his jacket pocket. He pulled out an envelope. He held it out to Maya. "We know sorry is not enough," Jake said. "We know we can't take back what we did. But we want to try to make it right. This is money. $400. We all pooled our money together. It's to pay for the tools we broke. And for your time that night, and because we owe you so much more than we can ever repay. Maya took the envelope. She opened it. Inside was cash.
Lots of cash.
And something else. Letters, handwritten letters. One from each kid. We each wrote you a letter, Melissa said, explaining why we're sorry. Explaining what we learned. You don't have to read them if you don't want to. But we wanted you to have them. Maya looked at the letters. At the money. At these kids standing in front of her. They looked so different from that night. So much younger. So much more vulnerable. The tough attitude was gone. The mean smiles were gone. They just looked like scared teenagers who had made a terrible mistake. Why? Maya asked. Why did you come back? Why now? Jake took a deep breath. Because my mom told me about coming here. About talking to you. And I realized that just saying sorry on the highway was not enough. I needed to make it right. We all needed to make it right. Also, Tyler added, we took down the video. We deleted it. And we posted a new video, an apology video, telling everyone what really happened, telling everyone how wrong we were. Maya felt something shift inside her chest. These kids were really trying. This was not just words. These were actions. Real actions. There's something else, Jake said. He looked nervous again. My mom told me you found problems with my bike. With the brake line and stuff. She said you were worried that our other bikes might have problems too. Maya nodded. Yes, she said. The modifications on your bike were dangerous. Very dangerous. I'm worried you all might be riding bikes that could get you killed. The kids looked at each other. They looked scared now. We've all been working on our own bikes, Tyler said. We watch videos online. We try to make them faster, cooler, but we don't really know what we're doing. We just guess. That's what I was afraid of, Maya said. She felt the worry from the past week bubbling up. You can't just guess with motorcycles. One wrong modification, one loose bolt, one bad brake line, and you end up dead, or paralyzed, or worse. Will you help us? Jake asked. His voice was small, hopeful. Will you check our bikes? Teach us how to do it right? We can pay you. Not much, but whatever we can afford. Maya looked at these kids. A week ago, she had hated them. They had humiliated her, hurt her, made her doubt herself, but now they were just kids who needed help. Kids who could get hurt or killed if someone did not teach them properly. She thought about her father. About how he had taught her. Not because she was his daughter, but because he believed everyone deserved to learn. Everyone deserved to be safe. I'll help you, Maya said. But not for money. For free. The kids looked shocked. Really? Melissa asked. After everything we did to you? Yes, really, Maya said. But there are conditions. First, you take down that apology video. I don't want more attention. I just want this whole thing to be over. Second, when I check your bikes, you listen to everything I say. No arguments. No, but we saw on YouTube. If I say something is dangerous, it gets fixed. Agreed? All the kids nodded eagerly. Agreed, they said together. And third, Maya said, looking at each of them seriously, you never ever make fun of someone for their job or their gender or anything else again. You treat people with respect. All people, always. We will, Jake said. I promise. We all promised. Maya believed him. She could see it in his eyes. This experience had changed him. Had changed all of them. Okay then, Maya said. She smiled for the first time since they had arrived. Bring your bikes here tomorrow morning. 10 o'clock. I'll check each one. And then we'll start teaching you how to do proper maintenance. The kids cheered. They actually cheered. Tyler high-fived Melissa. The others grinned and hugged each other. Even Jake smiled, balancing on his crutches. Thank you, Jake said. Thank you so much. You didn't have to do this. You didn't have to forgive us, Maya shrugged. My father always said that holding on to anger is like holding on to a hot coal. It only hurts you. He taught me to help people, even people who don't deserve it. Even people who have been mean to me, because everyone deserves a chance to be better. Your father sounds like he was a good man, Jake said. He was, Maya said softly. The best. The kids got back on their bikes. They put on their helmets. But before they left, Jake hobbled over one more time. I learned something this week, he said. Being a man is not about acting tough or putting people down. It's about taking responsibility. It's about admitting when you're wrong. And it's about respecting people who are good at what they do. You're one of the best mechanics I've ever seen. And you're strong in ways I never understood before. Maya felt tears forming in her eyes, but she blinked them back. Thank you, Jake, she said. That means a lot. See you tomorrow at 10, Jake said. He smiled, a real smile this time. Not a mean one. Not a fake one. A genuine, grateful smile. The bike started up again. But this time the sound did not scare Maya. This time it sounded different. Like possibility, like hope. Like the beginning of something new. The kids rode away slowly and carefully. Not fast and reckless like before. Maya stood in the parking lot and watched them go. She looked down at the envelope in her hands. At the letters and money inside. She opened one of the letters. Jake's letter. It was 2 pages long. His handwriting was messy but readable. He wrote about his father leaving. About trying to be tough to hide his pain. About being scared of women who were strong because it made him feel weak. About learning that real strength is not about dominance. It's about character. Maya folded the letter carefully. She would read the rest later. Right now, she just wanted to stand in the quiet parking lot and feel what she was feeling. Relief, satisfaction, maybe even a little bit of pride. She had done it. She had stood up for herself by being herself. She had not gotten revenge. She had not held a grudge. She had just been kind. Just helped. Just taught. Just like her father had taught her. As Maya locked up the garage and drove home that night, she thought about how strange life can be. A week ago, these kids had been her enemies. Tomorrow, they would be her students. People can change. People can learn. People can grow. And sometimes the best revenge is no revenge at all. Sometimes the best revenge is just being good at what you do. Being kind when others are cruel. Being strong when others are weak. Being the person your father raised you to be. Maya smiled as she drove home through the quiet streets. Tomorrow would be a good day. She would teach those kids everything she knew. She would keep them safe, and maybe, just maybe, she would help them become better people, just like someone had once helped her. Saturday morning came with clear blue skies and warm sunshine. Maya woke up early, feeling more excited than she had felt in weeks. Today was the day. Today she would teach those kids how to properly care for their motorcycles. How to keep themselves safe. She got dressed quickly. She ate breakfast with Rosa, who kept giving her big sister a knowing smile. You're happy, Rosa observed. Really happy. I haven't seen you this happy since before Dad died. Maya realized Rosa was right. She did feel happy. She felt like she had a purpose again. Teaching those kids felt important. It felt meaningful. It felt like something her father would have done. I think Dad would be proud, Maya said quietly. Rosa reached across the table and squeezed her sister's hand. I know he would be, she said. I'm proud of you too. Maya got to the garage at 9 o'clock. She wanted to prepare everything before the kids arrived. She set up her tool stations. She made a checklist of everything she needed to inspect on each motorcycle. She prepared teaching materials, diagrams of brake systems, charts about proper tire pressure, information about safe modifications versus dangerous ones. Mr. Chen arrived at 9:30. When he saw all of Maya's preparations, he smiled. You are really doing this, he said. Teaching them for free? Yes, Maya said. It's the right thing to do. Your father taught you well, Mr. Chen said. Not just about engines, about people too. He paused, then added, I want to help. How about every Saturday we make this an official program? We can call it something like Young Riders Safety Workshop. We can teach any young person who wants to learn about motorcycle maintenance. What do you think? Maya felt warmth spread through her chest. Really? You would do that? Of course, Mr. Chen said. It's good for the community. It's good for business. And it's the right thing to do. Plus, we can use the garage space on Saturdays when we're normally slow. I'll even buy pizza for lunch for the kids. Maya hugged Mr. Chen. He was like a second father to her now, always supporting her, always believing in her. Thank you, she said. Thank you so much. At exactly 10 o'clock, the sound of motorcycle engines filled the air. But this time, Maya smiled when she heard it. The 5 teenagers from before arrived first. Jake was riding in Tyler's car since he still could not ride with his cast. They parked their bikes carefully in a line, but then more bikes arrived. 3 more teenagers that Maya had never seen before. They were part of the riding group too. 8 bikes total. Just like Maya had read online. And then something unexpected happened. More kids showed up. Kids who were not in the original group. They had heard about the free motorcycle safety workshop. Word had spread fast in their small town. By 10:15, there were 12 teenagers at the garage. 12 kids eager to learn. Maya felt a little overwhelmed but also thrilled. This was bigger than she had expected. Mr. Chen looked delighted. "Looks like we have a full class," he said. Maya gathered all the kids in the garage. They sat on old tires and stools. They looked at her with attention, with respect. So different from that first night. "Okay," Maya said. "Before we start working on bikes, I need to tell you some important things. First, motorcycles are amazing machines. They're powerful and beautiful and fun, but they can also be very dangerous if not maintained properly. Every year, people die because of mechanical failure. Brake problems, tire blowouts, loose parts. These deaths are preventable. They happen because people don't take maintenance seriously." The kids listened quietly. Some of them looked scared. Good, Maya thought. They should be a little scared. Fear keeps you careful. Second, Maya continued, working on motorcycles is not about looking cool or making your bike faster. It's about understanding how every part works. It's about respecting the machine. When you really understand your bike, then you can modify it safely. But not before. Jake raised his hand. "How long does it take to really understand?" he asked. "Years," Maya said honestly. "I've been learning since I was 10 and I still learn new things all the time. My father used to say that the day you think you know everything about engines is the day you become dangerous." She smiled at their surprised faces. "But don't worry. Today we'll start with the basics, the important stuff, the stuff that will keep you alive." "Ready? Ready," they all said together. Maya divided the kids into groups. She started with the most important thing, brakes. She showed them Jake's bike, showed them the brake line that had been installed wrong, showed them exactly why it was dangerous. "This thin line here," Maya explained, pointing, "carries hydraulic fluid. When you squeeze the brake lever, the fluid creates pressure that makes the brake pad squeeze the rotor. That's what stops your bike. But if this line is too thin or installed wrong or damaged, the fluid leaks out, and then when you squeeze the brake, nothing happens. You just keep going, right into a tree or a car or whatever is in front of you." The kids stared at the brake line like it was a snake. Tyler looked pale. "I installed mine exactly like that," he whispered. "I watched a video and did it exactly the same way." "Then we're checking your bike next," Maya said firmly. "And we're fixing it today, right now." For the next 2 hours, Maya went from bike to bike with the kids following her. She showed them how to check brake lines, how to inspect tires for wear, how to test chain tension, how to look for loose bolts, how to check fluid levels. She found problems on almost every bike. Dangerous problems. Tyler's brake line was indeed installed wrong. Melissa's tires were completely bald. One new kid had a loose bolt on his front wheel that could have come off at any moment. Another had old degraded brake pads that were almost metal on metal. "You're all lucky to be alive," Maya said. It was not a joke. She meant it. The kids knew she meant it. They looked at their bikes with new eyes, with fear, with respect. "How did we not know?" one kid asked. His name was Chris. He looked close to tears. "How did we ride these bikes every day and not know they were death traps?" "Because nobody taught you," Maya said gently. "You can't learn everything from internet videos. You need hands-on teaching. You need someone to show you in person. That's why we're doing this." Mr. Chen ordered pizza for lunch like he had promised. The kids sat in the garage eating and talking. But they were not talking about the video anymore. Not talking about that first night. They were talking about motorcycles, about maintenance, about safety. Maya listened to them and felt proud. Jake sat next to Maya during lunch. His crutches leaned against the wall. "I've been thinking," he said, "about my dad, about how he left. I was so angry at him. I wanted to prove I didn't need him, that I could be a man without him. So I acted tough. I put people down to feel strong. I was especially mean to women because my mom was struggling without my dad and I blamed her somehow, like it was her fault he left." Maya listened without interrupting. This was important. Jake needed to say this. "But then I saw you," Jake continued. "This young woman who knows more about engines than I ever will, who's stronger than I ever was, who saved my life even though I treated her like garbage. And I realized that my idea of being a man was completely wrong. Being a man is not about being tough or dominant or putting others down. It's about being responsible. Being kind. Being strong enough to admit when you're wrong. Your mom raised you well, Maya said. She's been doing it alone. That takes real strength. I know that now, Jake said. I called my mom this morning. I told her I love her. I told her I appreciate everything she does. I haven't said that to her in 2 years. His eyes got wet. She cried. She said she's been waiting to hear those words for so long. Maya felt her own eyes getting wet. She blinked away the tears. That's good, Jake. That's really good. Fixing your relationship with your mom is more important than fixing any motorcycle. After lunch, the real teaching began. Maya showed the kids how to change brake pads properly, how to adjust chain tension, how to check and change oil. She let them do the work themselves while she supervised. She corrected their mistakes. She explained why each step mattered. Mr. Chen helped too. He had been a mechanic for 30 years before he bought this garage. He knew things even Maya did not know. Together, they made a good team. The kids were learning from the best. By 5 o'clock, all 12 motorcycles had been inspected and fixed. Every dangerous problem had been corrected. Every bike was now safe to ride. The kids were exhausted but happy. Their hands were covered in grease. Their clothes were dirty, but their eyes were bright. Same time next Saturday? Tyler asked hopefully. Same time, Maya confirmed. We'll learn about engine maintenance next week. And the week after that, suspension systems. There's a lot to learn. Will you teach us everything? Melissa asked. Everything you know, Maya smiled. I'll teach you everything my father taught me. And everything I've learned since. But remember, learning about motorcycles is a lifelong journey. You never stop learning. Never stop being curious. Never stop being careful. The kids started leaving one by one, but each of them stopped to thank Maya, to shake her hand, to tell her how much this meant to them. Some of them hugged her. All of them promised to come back next week. Jake was the last to leave. Tyler was giving him a ride home, but before he got in the car, he turned back to Maya. I have something to tell you, he said. I talked to the principal at my school. I told him about this workshop. About what you're doing. He wants you to come talk to our auto shop class. Share your story. Inspire other kids. Maya felt surprised. Really? He wants me to come to your school? Yeah, Jake said. He said any young person who can do what you do and who can forgive like you did has something important to teach. Will you come? Maya thought about it. She had never thought of herself as an inspiration. She was just a mechanic, just someone who fixed engines. But maybe that was enough. Maybe that was exactly what kids needed to see. Someone ordinary doing something they love. Someone who faced meanness with kindness. Someone who chose to help instead of holding grudges. Okay, Maya said. I'll come. Tell your principal to call the garage and we'll set it up. Jake's face lit up. Awesome. Thank you, Maya, for everything. You changed my life. You really did. After everyone had left, Maya and Mr. Chen cleaned up the garage. They put away tools. They swept the floors. They talked about how well the day had gone. About how many kids they had helped. You know what the best part is? Mr. Chen said. This is just the beginning. Word will spread. More kids will come. You're starting something important here, Maya. Something that will save lives. Maya looked around the garage, her father's garage, the place where she had learned everything, the place where she had cried after that terrible first night with those teenagers, the place where she had doubted herself. And now it was becoming something new, something bigger, a place where she could pass on everything her father had taught her. 6 months later, the Saturday workshops had become famous in their town. 20 to 30 kids came every week. Some came to learn about motorcycles. Some came to learn about cars. Some came just to be part of a community that cared about them. Jake had become Maya's assistant. His leg had healed well. He could walk and ride again. But he was different now, calmer, kinder, more mature. He helped Maya teach the younger kids. He talked to them about his accident, about what happens when you don't take maintenance seriously. His story saved lives. Maya was sure of it. The local newspaper did a feature article about Maya and her workshop. They called her the mechanic who builds more than engines. The article talked about how she was building confidence in young people, building skills, building community. The video that had once caused so much pain was now completely forgotten. When people searched for Maya Rodriguez online, they found new videos. Good videos. Videos of her teaching. Videos of kids thanking her. Videos of motorcycles being fixed properly. That's what her name meant now. Not embarrassment, achievement. Maya's story spread beyond their small town. Other garages in other cities started similar programs. They called Maya for advice. She shared everything she knew. She wanted every young person to have a chance to learn, to be safe, to be inspired. One Saturday, a special visitor came to the workshop. It was Maria Martinez, Jake's mother. She brought homemade tamales for everyone. As the kids ate and laughed, Maria pulled Maya aside. "I wanted to thank you," Maria said. "You gave me my son back. Not just his life, but his heart, his soul. He's the sweet boy I raised now. Not that angry kid who was trying to prove something to everyone." Maya hugged Maria. "He did the work himself," Maya said. "I just showed him a different way." "No," Maria said firmly. "You showed him what real strength looks like. You showed him that the strongest people are often the kindest people. You showed him that helping others is more powerful than hurting others. That's not a small thing. That's everything." As Maya watched the workshop that day, watched 25 kids learning and laughing and working together, she felt her father's presence. She felt like he was there watching, proud of what she had built. She thought about that midnight visit, about those teenagers coming back to apologize, about how easily she could have turned them away, could have held on to her anger, could have let them continue down their dangerous path. But she had made a different choice. She had chosen kindness over cruelty, teaching over punishing, help over hurt, and that choice had created ripples. Ripples that spread out and touched dozens of lives, maybe hundreds someday, maybe more. Maya walked over to Jake. He was teaching a new kid how to adjust a carburetor. His patience was beautiful. His gentleness was remarkable. This was the same boy who had knocked over her tools, who had mocked her, who had told her to learn her place. But people can change. People can grow. People can become better versions of themselves. If someone gives them a chance, if someone shows them the way, if someone believes in them even when they don't believe in themselves. "Good job," Maya said to Jake. "You're a natural teacher." Jake smiled. That genuine kind smile that had replaced his mean smirk. "I learned from the best," he said. As the sun set that evening and the last kid rode away on a safe, well-maintained motorcycle, Maya locked up the garage. She stood in the parking lot for a moment. The same parking lot where her nightmare had begun, where 5 teenagers had changed her life with their cruelty, but they had changed her life in another way too. They had given her a new purpose, a new mission. They had shown her that she had something valuable to offer. Not just mechanical skills, but wisdom, kindness, forgiveness, strength.